optimization in general requires some sort of sacrificing. It's a reductive approach. And it needs to be taken really seriously in order to get small incremental improvements over time. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. There is a beautiful process of experimentation where we actually take things that we believe are essential out of our system to see whether or not they actually are essential. If we can't do this, if we don't consistently do this, then how is it possible for us to measure all of the things that we're investing in? If it's time, money, resources, whatever it is, we need to pose experiments in order to understand how things are impacting. For instance, for my business at Franklin Dental Care and Dentures, I have been investing a significant amount into outreach opportunities. And part of it is to build out this national nonprofit, but a large part of it is also to get more patients in the door to increase our revenue. And in order for me to have the assurance that all of that is having a return on investment, I have had to think about ways to extract that all together from the equation and see for that extended period of time if indeed our patients are decreasing. The funny thing about something like that, though, is in order to take it away for a long enough time to see actual results, we basically need to take away the outreach operations altogether for about 3 months. And that way we can see, okay, well, is it getting harder to fill the schedule? Are we seeing less new patients? What is going on? So taking that away is difficult than taking away, for instance, one staff member, say for instance a manager, say for instance a specific dental assistant or a specific role at the office. That's a lot easier to do because sometimes these people are sick, sometimes they can't show up. And the cool part about that happening is that we have the ability then to really observe the system as a whole and see if those integral parts or parts that we thought were integral are actually contributing to our key performance indicators. So a lot of this language that I'm using is stuff that I've figured out over the last couple of months to give myself the data to know whether or not things are actually working. And I wish I had this philosophy and these ideas before in my life, because a lot of those clubs, those organizations that I've made in the past, or a lot of the personal endeavors like creating artwork or getting fit or really building out relationships in general to be more impactful, more meaningful, I wish I had performance indicators. I wish I had the awareness to actually write those things down and use them as a guideline to see if where I'm spending my time and resources is actually making that difference, is actually allowing me to experience that positive change. So I say to you, and this is part of a bigger philosophy, that in order to become more creative in life, oftentimes we actually need limitations on the things that we're allowing into our system. And so this also goes to optimization in general, but this is coming from the time that I spent studying drums from the greats, particularly Jojo Mayer, who has this phenomenal technique on the drum kit and this phenomenal sense of basically sonic ranges that are available in on the bandstand. He says, listen, if you want to create new grooves, right, just play 3 parts of the drum kit instead of 6 or 7. If you want to improve the way that you look at life, right, don't include other drugs or don't include other mind altering substances to create more unique opportunities. Perhaps there's a mindset change that needs to happen. Perhaps there's a book, or perhaps there's a just any sort of new stimulus that passively can impact a fairly structured system. So it's a thing that I want the people watching this video and also myself in the future to be thinking about is, how do I consistently pose experiments where I'm actually being reductive, where I'm taking things away from the system to see their efficacy and efficiency. It's something that I think we need to incorporate when we are optimizing more so than anything else. And optimization, I'll just break that down for you, is really a process of getting more out of the exact same things that you have. So optimization and creativity, to a degree, are directly related, and they are a big part of why I advocate for creative spirits, leaders, to actually value their businesses, the organizations that they're making, as a creative process. Because at some point we're gonna have to sit back and think to ourselves, well, how do we get more from the same, or how do we get more from less? And that's the type of free market mentality that gets creativity to flow into our businesses, to flow into the culture of the things that we're creating. It's gonna take some time to get to a point where it's stable enough, the organization or whatever is stable enough to actually warrant this experimentation. But we can extrapolate this, like I was referring to earlier, to friend groups. We can extrapolate this into families. We can extrapolate this into any groups of human beings. We can extrapolate this into systems that we've created to make our lives more efficient, more I guess KPI focused. And I encourage this a lot. The other thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was the reassessing of goals in general, as this has a massive overlap in terms of philosophy, to every 6 months actually sit down and think to ourselves if the trajectory of our life is what we're actually enjoying doing, and if we can take away parts of that or add to it to make it more likely that we will actually enjoy that process. So for me, I currently really love playing Magic the Gathering, and it's to some degree associated very closely to the things that I really enjoy doing in life. But to some degree, it's a bit of a distraction, because obviously I should be probably focusing on optimizing the systems that need it. And what I've come to realize, at least as this new year turns around, is a lot of the reason that I'm trying to make money in my life, a lot of the reason that I'm trying to take more responsibility in my life, is because I genuinely want to live a more novel, fun life. And Magic, if that's one of those things for me, although I know that I can't necessarily look at these cards every day, and I can't necessarily lose myself in them every single time that my emotions guide me towards it, I know that I should continue doing it to some capacity because it does bring me life satisfaction. So this again is a part of this whole philosophy of really trying to augment our systems and really trying to augment the things that we do daily, monthly, weekly, and get optimized, really start enjoying what it is that we are doing, and getting those constant wins of whether or not we're looking for those unique conversations in life, or whether or not we're looking for unique opportunities in life, right? If we're getting more of those things by doing certain actions, then it would behoove us to probably increase those actions if we're looking for that increase and we know that we have the time and the energy to implement that increase. So it's just food for thought for anyone that's inquisitive and looking to add more value to their time and their life. You know, you gotta have a sense of experimentation to all the cool stuff that we're doing, because it can become really quite a grind, and it's necessarily always going to be a grind when we're pursuing a betterment of self, or a betterment of circumstance, or a betterment of organization. Optimization in general requires some sort of sacrificing. It's a reductive approach, and it needs to be taken really seriously in order to get small incremental improvements over time. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, If it's something that you've been thinking about, or if it's something that is new or novel to you, smash that like button. Hopefully it got you to think about it, and hopefully it got you, give you some semblance of strategies that you can implement into your life to optimize, to get more out of life than you ever have in the past. I'm also, for those of you that are students watching this, in high school or in college, I have a network called the Terabify Network that specifically teaches these skills and actionable lessons. And it also gives people, students, access to me for asking questions about these types of things. I think specifically if you're in graduate school or if you're going into medicine in any capacity, medical schools do not teach what it means to be a business person. They do not teach what it means to be a leader, in my opinion, in any significant capacity that can actually lead to wealth and happiness in the people's lives that are actually going through the curriculum. So joining this network and creating this flow in life is a phenomenal way to start thinking about these things seriously, but also to get into the mindset of you are in practice now. Many of the people that I mentor nowadays are not even planning to go into graduate school, and they're planning to start their own businesses or to get involved in other businesses, and there's a baseline amount of knowledge required to really optimize and utilize those opportunities the best. So I can help guide some of those things. Shoot me a comment below if you're interested, or if you're looking for anything along those lines, and I would love to help wherever school you're at. Doesn't matter where in the world. If you got an aunt or an uncle that has a nephew or a sibling or a child is the word that I'm looking for, that might benefit from a little bit more structure and a little bit more real life application, the Terabify Network is right there available. So actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.